Is Richard Walton, former head of the Met's Counter-Terrorism Command, now a senior fellow at the Policy Exchange. Welcome to the programme this morning, Mr. Walton.
Good morning, Tom.
Do you understand the arguments made by Ms Khan and indeed the court that it is right, it is fair and proper for Shamima Begum to return?
Well, I think the Court of Appeal has made a profound mistake, to be honest, which will have serious ramifications for our security and set a dangerous precedent. I think that the decision will probably be overturned by the Supreme Court, or if that doesn't happen, I think there will be corrective legislation that will be enacted by Parliament. I mean, frankly, it's alarming to see the Court of Appeal, obviously who I respect enormously, but take over the Home Secretary's responsibility for deciding who should be allowed to enter the UK, judging for itself the relative importance of national security against what is effectively a procedural issue, namely whether she should be or has to be present at her appeal. It's obviously opened the door for her return to Britain and just undermined what is basically statutory power of Parliament to enable the government, Home Secretary in particular, to protect the public.
And what about your former colleagues and their ability to keep us all safe if a known ISIS recruit is coming back into the country? What kind of other security problems does that pose?
Well, of course, I mean, she's highly likely to be arrested. She will be probably charged with some offences, but whether there is the necessary evidence, I mean, it's almost impossible to gather sufficient evidence for serious terrorist offences from war zones. So I would imagine that the offences that she may be charged with, such as membership of ISIS, a prescribed organisation, will be relatively minor charges. And that presents then an ongoing problem in terms of how you mitigate the risk of her when she's actually released.
So we've got two issues, really. The first is whether she should come back to be present for the appeal process itself. And then it's actually a court case to try and prove the charges against her and her involvement in this group. On the second issue, do you think we have strong enough legislation that we've got the right pieces in the right place to be able to say to someone who goes out to ISIS, who may well do things that there is, as you say, difficulty in getting evidence for, that we have the right laws in place to be able to prosecute those people and imprison them properly?
No, I don't. And I've said before, and in fact, it would be good if we had a workable law of treason on the books, which someone like Begum might be charged with. That would be practically helpful and would help us do justice. I mean, Policy Exchange has recommended just such a law in the recent past, but that's perhaps a question for another day.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Richard Walton, former head of the Met's Counter-Terrorism Command, now a senior fellow at Policy Exchange.